Okay, so if you were one of the millions of people who got totally sucked into the Netflix hit Sex Life, you know it left us all with one huge question just hanging in the air. So today, we're going to unpack the psychology behind why we were all so obsessed.
And this is it. This is the big one. Security, safety, and hot sex. Can you actually have it all? Let's be honest, it's a question most of us have probably wrestled with at some point. Is it possible to find a partner who gives you that cozy, safe feeling and also, mind-blowing, passionate sex?
All right, so here's how we're gonna break it all down. First, we'll look at the whole Netflix obsession. Then, we'll get into that classic security versus passion debate. After that, we're diving deep into the untamable man fantasy. We'll ask the big question, can you have it all? And finally, we'll talk about what lies beyond just good sex. Okay, let's kick things off. Why couldn't we stop watching? This show blew up, hit the top 10 almost instantly. So what was it about Billie's story that just hooked everyone?
So the whole show revolves around this woman, Billie. On the surface, she's a suburban mom who seems to have the perfect life. But inside, she's completely torn between the super stable, safe life she has with her husband, Cooper, and this wild, passionate past she had with her ex, Brad. She starts journaling about it, and, well, that's when things get complicated.
And that brings us right to the two men at the center of this whole storm. They're basically polar opposites, each representing a totally different side of what she wants. And this lays out the conflict perfectly, right? On one side, you've got Cooper. He's the provider. He's the 85%. The stability, the safety, the family life. It's predictable, but the sex, it's kind of lackluster. Then you have Brad, the catalyst. He is that thrilling, unpredictable 15%. All passion, wild nights, but their relationship was a total roller coaster, completely unstable.
So what's the deal with Brad? Why is Billie so completely obsessed with him? Well, the show is basically a perfect deep dive into this really powerful psychological idea, the untamable man fantasy. Let's break down what that really is.
Okay, so this is the heart of it. The attraction isn't just about some spark. It's literally fueled by how unpredictable and emotionally unavailable the other person is. Think about that for a second. The exact things that make the relationship toxic are the things that get misinterpreted as intense passion. So this fantasy usually has three main ingredients. First, you've got the thrill of the chase. Second, there's this really addictive pattern called intermittent reinforcement. We'll get to that. And third, it's all wrapped up in this taming narrative, this idea that, oh, my love is the one that's gonna finally change them.
Yeah, let's zero in on that second one, intermittent reinforcement, because this is huge. Brad's whole move is to pull Billie in super close, then shove her away. This creates this insanely addictive cycle. You get these incredible highs, followed by these soul-crushing lows. And that pattern creates something psychologists call a trauma bond. It feels like this powerful, deep connection, but it's often mistaken for passion when it's something else entirely.
But here's the real kicker. The obsession. It's not even really about Brad. Not totally. He's basically a stand-in for her own internal crisis. When she's longing for him, what she's really longing for is the person she used to be. That free-spirited, wild version of herself before she settled into her life as a wife and mom.
So all of this brings us right back to the main event. Can you really have it all? The show gives us one answer, but as we're about to see, actual experts in the real world have a very different take.
So there's this flashback scene where Billie's old therapist basically tells her, the person who gives you security can't be the same one who gives you the thrill. It's presented like this absolute rule, like you have to pick one or the other, end of story.
But here comes the reality check. According to a real-life sex therapist, Dr. Emily Jamia, that whole idea is just a myth. A complete myth. She says that in a truly healthy relationship, sexual satisfaction and relationship satisfaction aren't enemies. They actually go hand in hand. You don't have to choose. Okay, so if the show's core idea is kind of shaky, what's the missing piece? What's the real foundation for a relationship that has it all? The fulfillment, the passion, and the security.
Well, what you almost never see in Billie's relationships is the actual work. I'm talking about communication, honesty, self-awareness. When things are bad with Cooper, do they talk? Nope. Her whole thing with Brad is built on a fantasy, not on anything real or honest. Those crucial ingredients just aren't there.
And Dr. Jamia has another amazing point here. She says ultimately bad sex can break a relationship, but good sex doesn't make a relationship. It's so true, right? Passion is awesome, it's a huge part of things, but it can't be the only thing holding everything together.
And that's exactly why the show's ending, spoiler alert, she ends up with Brad, is so controversial. It doubles down on this really dangerous idea. It reinforces this romantic fantasy that the most passionate love, the real love, is the one that causes the most pain. And that's a pretty damaging message.
So when you strip it all away, the show leaves us with a much bigger question to ask ourselves. The real challenge isn't about picking a Cooper or a Brad. The real question is, how do we create a life for ourselves where we feel sexually fulfilled, and we choose relationships that fulfill all our other needs too? How do we get security and passion to live in the same house, not as enemies, but as two sides of the same incredible coin?